The Genius Act. Innovation or control? This bill could change how stablecoins work in the US, but is it a move towards centralizing crypto? Let's unpack some things in this bill, see what's maybe hidden between the lines, and how it could reshape the future of decentralization. So what is the Genius Act? In case you don't know, this is a bill that was introduced back in February 4th, 2025, that establishing a regulatory framework for payment of stablecoins, digital assets, which a user must redeem for a fixed value. Under the bill, only permitted users may issue a payment stablecoin for use by U.S. persons in the U.S., subject to certain exemptions and safe harbors. I read through the bill and I had a lot of questions regarding a lot of the verbiage in the bill. So I did use Grok on X to get answers to a lot of these questions. I will leave the link below so you can look through everything that I asked it and the information that I got from it. This Genius Act, like I just said before, allows only permitted users to issue payment of stablecoins for U.S. users with some exceptions. They must be subsidiaries of insured banks, federal qualified non-bank issuers, state qualified issuers, regulated by federal or state authorities, and state regulated issues are capped at 10 billion in stablecoin issuance. So what is the definition of a stablecoin? It's a digital asset that's pegged to a fixed value, in this case the US dollar, of a 1-to-1 value, issued by private entities recorded on distributed ledgers, the blockchain. The exemption in this bill is it exempts peer-to-peer transactions and self-custody wallet transactions, preserving some decentralized aspects. Who are the regulators to give permission to these banks or private companies to issue these stablecoins? Federal Payment Stablecoin Regulator. They're the ones that can approve the issuers and enforce requirements like one-to-reserve backing, AML compliance, and the ability to freeze or burn wallets for unlawful orders. State regulators are the state banking or financial regulators that have the authority to approve the state qualified payment of stablecoins. But who are these people or these entities or groups that are the regulators? Federal Reserve Board, Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System is one of them. Office of Comptroller of Currency, OCC, which they regulate national banks and their subsidiaries. They approve charters, set capital requirements, and ensure compliance with federal laws or banking affiliated issuers. Some groups that were not mentioned, but something that was mentioned in this bill was appropriate federal banking agencies, which is a term defined under U.S. Law 12 U.S.C. Section 1813 to include additional agencies. They're not explicitly named, but which could be included would be Federal Deposit Corporation, FDIC, to regulate state-chartered banks, and National Credit Union Administration. It's a federal banking agency. Again, these were not mentioned in the bill, but because they fall under the laws of federal agencies or federal banking agencies, these people possibly could be part of these regulators. But the first two are definitely mentioned, and they are the main regulators for the federal. So it did catch my eye that the Federal Reserve Board was one of the top regulators. So I asked, of course, what is the Federal Reserve Board, just to get some more clarification. So the Federal Reserve Board, formerly known as the Board of Governors of Federal Reserve System, is the governing body of the Federal Reserve System, the central banking system of the United States. Oversees national monetary policy, regulates and supervises banks, maintains the stability of the financial system. And as we all know, this was created as part of the Federal Reserve System under the Federal Reserve Act, December 23rd, 1913, by President Woodrow Wilson. There's a lot of history of the Federal Reserve Board and some shady back history of them. That's why it also caught my attention that this Federal Reserve Board is one of the main regulators of stablecoin issuers. The Federal Reserve is not issuing the stablecoin. They are overseeing the people who can issue it. So another question I asked, if the Federal Reserve has the authority to approve and oversee stablecoin issuers, would that make the stablecoins centralized. So a centralized system is where a single entity or small group controls key aspects of issuance, transactions, validation, or asset backing. A decentralized system is where control is distributed across many participants with no single point of failure. This Genius Act is considered a hybrid system because it's partially centralized due to regulatory oversight and the issuer control it has over the stablecoins, but it retains this decentralized aspects through blockchain technology and user-driven transactions. If this was fully centralized, the Federal Reserve would be issuing, controlling, and monitoring all transactions. I feel with the Federal Reserve being one of the federal oversight regulators, this could be a foundation being laid to possible future changes made to this act to eventually lead to some sort of type of centralized digital currency. Now, I don't think they would ever name it CBDC because of a bill that came out to make sure that the Federal Reserve could not have a CBDC. But I feel that because of the ability to have certain controls they have over it, I feel that it could be laying some sort of foundation moving towards a centralized system. One thing to point out is in this bill, these stable coins are not legal tender, are money. They are just digital currency that is backed with a 1-to-1 value with the US dollar. Wallet freezing. This, I feel, is one of the most important things that stands out to me, aside from the Federal Reserve being one of the oversight people. Wallet freezing and the use of private wallets, also known as self-custody wallets, are important concepts related to the regulation and use and payment of stablecoins. Wallet freezing refers to the ability of a permitted payment stablecoin issuer to temporarily or permanently block access to a specific digital wallet holding these stablecoins. This means the wallet's owner cannot send, receive, or use the stablecoins in that wallet until the freeze is lifted. They can implement freezing by adding a wallet address to a blacklist or blocklist within the stablecoin's smart contract, preventing transaction from or to that address, using administrative controls in that stablecoin's protocol to disable the wallet's functionality. Now, this goes for a wallet or an account that you might have on exchange, and it also extends into self-custody wallets, hardware wallets, and software wallets. Transactions using a private wallet for stablecoins are not subject to the Act's regulatory requirements, issuer oversight reporting, meaning you don't have to do your KYC, AML, or any of that with your private wallet. But there's limitations to these private wallets and the wallet freezing. The issuer control. People who are issuing these stablecoins, even in a private wallet, stablecoins issued by permitted issuers, USDC, USDT, can be frozen if the issuer implements a blocklist or freeze function. This is because the stablecoin's smart contract, which is controlled by the issuer, operates on the blockchain, and the Act requires issuers to have this capability. So, for example, if Circle freezes your MetaMask wallet's USDC address due to a legal order, you cannot use those specific stablecoins even though you control your wallet's private keys. Now, if you have other cryptocurrencies in your private wallet, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it says that they're unaffected by these stablecoin specific freezes as they aren't issued by entities under the Act's jurisdiction. It makes me wonder if you have, say, a USDC address that is the same as another ERC20 address, could that also affect that address? That, I feel, is that gray area. That is speculation. So under the Genius Act, permitted stablecoin issuers must be able to freeze wallets to comply with legal orders, introducing centralized control over stablecoins, even in private wallets for AML, sanctions, or other regulatory purposes. So even though you have your private self-custody wallet and you control over the stablecoin directly, you can do peer-to-peer without doing KYC and other things, the issuer still has the ability to freeze your stablecoins in that wallet and The issuer's ability to freeze stablecoins can still affect funds in your private wallets. And again, they're stating that it's just those stablecoins, but that I feel is still a gray area, especially if the wallet address is the same as your USDC that you received funds on. So I also asked, so what's the technical aspects of this? So this is including a centralized control mechanism in the smart contract where the issuer or designed administrator holds privileged access to modify the contract's state, blacklist an address, using upgradable smart contracts via proxy patterns, and to allow the issuer to update freezing logic if needed, deploying access control lists to enforce compliance with regulatory orders. USDC and USDT currently do have these capabilities. I did not know this. While this does seem like a fantastic win for the crypto space in general here in the United States, I do question it. I feel that there's a lot of gray area in this, and especially with them to be able to have these centralized control mechanisms in their smart contracts, this is moving away from decentralization of crypto, of what it was originally intended for, to bypass these governmental controls, to bypass the banks. My advice would be, if using these stablecoins that are issued by these issuers in the United States, I would use a separate wallet and hold them in a separate wallet than your other crypto. This way, there is no way that if your wallet was frozen, your other crypto would be safe. Again, whether they can freeze your other crypto in your wallet, they're saying they can't, but that's a gray area. But just to be safe, I would have 2 separate wallets, your main crypto in one wallet, and these stable coins that you're using in a completely separate wallet to keep your crypto separate. Let me know what you think, if you think that this is something good for the crypto space, or if you have other thoughts. We'll see how it goes. I am a crypto consultant, so if you do need help with any of your crypto needs, my link is below to schedule a free 15-minute consultation. I help with a variety of things, different technical issues that you might have, wallet troubleshooting, or any other troubleshooting issues that you might have. I do wallet recovery. If you need to reset your wallet and you only have partial words or part of your private keys, I can help you to restore that wallet so you can gain access back to your crypto. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share.